feminine female video game characters continue to be nerfed in favor of the transgender gaze, and this time coming officially from Microsoft, just up and saying it, that they want less curvy female representation and they want more gender ambiguous representation by what they're asking for here. So let's dive into this article. People said, oh, it's not about the transgenders, they said. Well, I made a big video on that just recently, but what if we show actual demonstrations of characters, which I will be doing in addition to this? Yeah, it's all about the transgender gaze. It's all about blurring the lines between male and female, feminizing our female characters or male characters and masculinizing our female characters. But of course, some people are still doing it right over in the East, but I digress. This article comes to us from Niche Gamer. They said Microsoft cautions developers to avoid curvy female characters. So here we go. Not to create female characters with exaggerated body proportions on their official site to support game devs. The site, titled Product Inclusion Action, help customers feel seen. Oh my gosh, the cringe is real. You know how I don't feel seen? First of all, I don't care if I feel seen in a video game because I play video games as an escape. I don't want to play video games as my real life self. But secondly, I certainly am not feeling seen by these transgender looking female characters. I can tell you that much. All right, so it includes a bullet list of considerations they urge developers to make when working on their product. One Twitter user pointed out the language expressly condemning certain female characteristics as reinforcing negative gender stereotypes. They want to blur the lines, right? Are you reinforcing any negative gender stereotypes? I don't know, beauty? Is that a negative gender stereotype? Apparently so. Femininity? Okay, are you unnecessarily introducing gender and gender barriers into your code or design? Oh, but it's not about the transgender gaze, they said. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Are you creating playable female characters that are equal in skill and ability to their male peers? Males and females are different. We will never be equal, ever. But we will be able to contribute into society in different ways, not in equal ways, or God wouldn't have made two different genders. But alas, he did. And we contribute in our own way. Are your female characters equipped with clothing and armor that fits their task? Here's the thing when it comes to video games in general, not just female armor either, is if I'm playing a game as a male or female character, I like their armor to be flattering and attractive looking. I always pick whatever armor looks attractive on the character. If I'm playing a guy character or a girl character, that is part of the power fantasy, is to play its very attractive aesthetic character. You see this with guy characters as well. They usually exaggerate the proportions, the muscularity, even with their outfits, they're often created to show off the strength, to make the male character look strong and attractive. So with female characters, we see the same, but men and women are different. So that's going to look different in their outfit. They're not going to wear the exact same stuff. That would look weird. All right. Do they have exaggerated body proportions? What's wrong with that? That's part of what makes the art style fun. Exaggerated proportions. If I wanted to look at real life, I would step outside. I would look in a mirror. But I don't want to look at real life. I want to look at art. When the story allows, do you show male characters who display a full range of emotions? Oh, including joy, sadness, and vulnerability. Oh my gosh. This is getting gay real fast. Which I'll talk about this more too, because I know we do focus a lot on female characters, but there really is the emasculation of male characters as well. It just hasn't been as overt. So we haven't paid as much attention to it as a whole. But I mean, just playing Splinter Cell again yesterday made me realize, whoa, we don't see characters this masculine anymore hardly compared to what it used to be. We're seeing emasculation of male characters in addition to the defeminization of female characters. All right, so, and then the article talks about Stellar Blade, how there's been some backlash about objectification. They always use the label objectification, but I think they care less about objectification and more about, hey, this character is hyper feminine, looks very female. And they don't like that. They want to push this transgender agenda. And so they want to blur the lines between male and female characters. That's what most of it boils down to. Not to say there aren't jealous female game developers who want to see ugly characters so they can feel better about themselves. That is still a thing. But I think ultimately what the main focus here is that blurring those gender lines. And part of what makes me believe that is that if you look at something like The Last of Us 2, they had no problems throwing in unnecessary sex scenes that nobody asked for. And they had no problems putting their characters in sexual positions and very crude sexual positions at that and overt in your face. But what would not constitute that as sexual objectification? Because they're ugly? Because the women look like men? So anyway, let's look at a very obvious in-your-face example of this with the Pokemon Go stuff. The ESG approved 2024 changes. None of this, and what I've said in my caption here, I said none of this is about women. It's the trans gays. This update isn't a relatable female frame. It's straight up transgender, which is the case here. It's all about blurring those lines between male and female. That first image is not an unrealistic body type. It is a female body type. Granted, the whole art style isn't hyper-realism, and it wasn't intended to be. And for goodness sakes, why does everybody want hyper-realism and everything? That's boring. I want to see cool art styles. But here is, I mean, this represents a very normal body type for a woman. It's obviously easily distinguished as a female. Like, you don't have to even think about it. That's obviously female. And now what we see here in this updated design is a more straight, the hips and the waist are all about the same width. The legs, look at how even here her hips tilt. When a woman is standing, we lean our hips. Like, it's not. They do this with Lara Croft as well in the rebooted games. Notice how she stands like this? Mom says it's my turn to play Xbox. They make her stand like this. No hip tilt at all. What? Women don't stand like this. Not normal ones. And so here we have, just the stance change. The very gender ambiguous design here, okay? And then I wanted to talk about as well I've been playing, I played some Splinter Cell Double Agent yesterday, but I was looking at videos and pictures of Splinter Cell Conviction, which I want to replay that as well after Double Agent. Here you have Sam Fisher interrogating somebody, and he just grabs him by the throat, bashes his face in the mirror. I remember him also like in the toilet, pushing him in the urinal, punching that toilet, breaking it. And look at this. Look at this. Sam Fisher was portrayed as a very hyper masculine man. I love that. I titled this Toxic Masculinity with the Hard Eyes. I love it. Love it. But yeah, this type of, do we see this as much in games now from the protagonist? Not really. We don't see this kind of just brute masculinity. And Sam Fisher, he is a smart dude, so it's not just like a dumb punch first, ask questions later type. He's very smart. But he just was very masculine, very strong, also very on task. And as I'm replaying Double Agent, there's parts that it's like, oh, wow, I forgot about just how masculine and serious business that Sam Fisher was as a character. So, in the beginning of Double Agent, you start the game with Sam Fisher and another operative who are working together and this other dude, right? And so you're supposed to sneak into the enemy base. They're about to launch a missile, and Sam Fisher stops that missile from being launched. But anyway, his his co-op dude who's helping him on this mission gets himself caught, puts his hands up, and you watch as he gets shot and killed by the enemy. And Sam Fisher's reaction when he's on comms with Lambert wasn't, oh my goodness, oh no, oh dear, oh my. Instead, it was, well, that didn't have to happen. He goofed up. Like, you'll have to play it or watch the cutscene again to see his actual his actual words that he used. But he basically was saying, what a waste. Dude goofed up. He didn't get off. He didn't get emotional. He was on a mission and he did what he had to do. He focused on the mission. And you even see when he's talking about disarming that missile on the mission, when he's on comms with the team and they're like, no, there's no way you have time for this. No, he's like, this isn't up for discussion. Like nope, I'm doing it. Not up for discussion. He didn't get emotional, doesn't act like, oh, I'm going to be all vulnerable right now, this, that, and the other. Like the dude was all, man, this is why I freaking loved the character so much. And I have had a crush on Sam Fisher for as long as I have, since I first played the old games. He was awesome. But yeah, you don't see this as much. Now it's like they want to try to make more male characters vulnerable, as they've mentioned here. Oh, they need to display a full range of emotions. You can't have a dude who is composed and masculine and portrayed in such a way. Obviously, men feel emotions, but they express emotions differently than women do, for the most part. And a guy who doesn't is unregulated. Like, people might get mad at that, but it's the truth. This is one problem that we're seeing widespread with these male feminist types. Is these feminine men, first of all, they're bad for women. People want to call masculinity toxic. That's masculinity is good for women. Masculine men aren't going to sit and whine at a woman and bicker at a woman and try to act like all catty and gossipy and all this stuff with women, like these feminine men do. These feminine men employ toxic feminine tactics against women that they don't like. I see this all the time with these male feminist types that try to go after me. What do? They just create gossip and rumors and try to cancel these cancel campaigns. Oh, she's so problematic. Oh, my fifis. They want to bicker. They want to go, oh, you hurt my feelings. You hurt my feelings. I just, a man who will get all catty with the woman like that, I just lose all respect for. It's like, dude. But yeah, this is how, and it's not good for women. It doesn't help women at all. Masculine men protect women. Masculine men are far better. I mean, let's just talk also about Joel in The Last of Us. We see how Joel was in the Last of Us game. And then you see how Joel was in the TV show. And he's not as cool in the TV show. I mean, they could have done worse with him. I will say that. They did better than I thought. But it's still a stark difference. He was much more masculine in the first game than he was in the TV show. So anyway, this is where we're at with things. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And if you want me to read the Bible to you, you can check out my Bible channel, Bible Time with Melanie Mack. And if you want to catch my streams Wednesdays, and I try to do every Thursday as well, you can check me out at Melanie Mack on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. Until Twitch bans me again, which is probably inevitable. Anyway, thank you all again for watching. I'll catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom. Miles Morales is Miles Morales.